Welcome to 49 Sports Games and this first look at 49 Quick Decks Hockey. It was about a year ago and I was working on Quick Decks Football and also 49 End-to-End Hockey, which is the full-blown hockey game that I've been working on. And I realized then that I needed to do a Quick Decks hockey game as well. It took a while to figure out how to do it. And towards the end of last year, I kind of locked into a style that I liked and been working on tweaking it ever since. And the result of all that is what is in this video, what I'm going to show you today, and some subsequent videos that I'm going to do over the next couple of weeks. Okay, so what is 49 Quick Decks Hockey? Well, it's a strategy simulation of professional hockey. In a nutshell, that's it. You're going to have strategic choices you're going to have to make during the game, whether or not you're going to clear the puck or pass it out, or when you have it in the neutral zone, if you're going to dump and chase or you're going to pass in. Some of that's dependent on how risk reward you want to be. Also going to be depending on some of the players you have on the ice. If you got some guys who are good at hitting or forechecking, you might want to dump and chase more, that kind of thing. So you're really the coach in the game making these strategic choices. The simulation part of the game is the fact that the player ratings are all from statistics, and from 2007 on, the statistics are really good. Prior to then, there's not that many statistics to go on, so I've had to generate some formulas in order to create the same type of attributes that each player is rated towards, and that's taken a lot of time, but I'm pretty happy with where that is right now, so I feel pretty good that I can rate all the different seasons that are out there. So what was my goal in designing 49 Quick Decks Hockey? Well, I wanted it to feel like a hockey game. I wanted you to feel like you're in the middle of a game that's flowing back and forth. There's lots of energy in the game, strategic choices that are going to maybe make a little bit of difference for you. And so I wanted it also for you to feel like you're the coach of the game, not the individual player. So you're the coach. You're the guy standing behind the bench, pacing or throwing water bottles or whatever you do behind the bench, and making your choices on what lines are going to go out and how your team is going to play, if you're going to do any extra kind of stuff, which you'll see in some of the upcoming videos what some of these strategic choices are. But that was my goal of the game, and to be able to do that within an hour's time, like with 50 to 60 minutes. And most of my games that I'm playing right now, I'm around 50 minutes playing them. And then you add in setup and teardown time. Well, that was another biggie too. And that's why what you see here are the team charts. Team charts allow this game to be set up and you're playing within a couple minutes time. And yeah, there's a lot of tokens out there, but they really don't take too long to set up. The other cool thing about these team charts that I've got is the special teams. So when you transition from 5-on-5 into a penalty situation, a one-man or two-man advantage, your special teams are already there. You don't have to adjust any cards. You just move your token over, whether it's a first or second line power play unit or a short man unit out there, and you're up and running. So the game really does flow, and that's another one of the goals. Is I just wanted you to be engaged in the game for that hour. Sit down for an hour. I'm going to play this game. I'm going to focus on the game. And like with the football too, what was important to me was to come up with enough information to feed you that you could kind of put the rest of the play-by-play and the commentary, what's going on in your mind. Because to me, that's why we play tabletop games. I mean, that started way back when, maybe, with the advent of the computers and all these computer games, you kind of seem to get away from that, but not my games. My games are going to be ones where, for the most part, you're going to get enough information for you to fill in the dots for how the play actually worked, whether, somebody tripped and fell or whatever it was. It's just all goes into your mind. So the way the game plays is when you're 5-on-5, you've got these two main decks of cards. You've got the game action cards and you've got these ice action cards. The game action cards are going to dictate what happens in face-offs, what happens on rebounds, and when the offensive team has the puck in the attacking zone, what's going to happen if they're able to get a scoring chance or a shot on net, that kind of thing. And while we're talking about shots on net, 49 Quick Decks Hockey is going to get all the shots. So we're generating all the shots that there are in a game. Almost all the penalties are going to be part of it because so many shots get called or come into play on penalties. You're not going to have all the face-offs. You're going to have a few face-offs, and some of them are the key face-offs. And then you're going to have line changes, but not as quick as they are in like end-to-end hockey or in a real game, especially in modern day hockey, get guys out in the ice for 12 seconds before they're, winded or whatever, get called off the ice because the other team made a change. And so you're not going to have the full line changes, but this game does flow through line changes. You are going to run in modern day through all 4 lines. In the olden day stuff, you're going to run 3 lines and trying to figure out when you're going to put the 4th line out there. And I've got some rules about how you're going to go about doing that, but that's for another video. So back to the game, you're going to go from the game action deck, if it's one of those things I talked about, a face-off, a rebound, or trying to create a scoring chance. And if you've just got possession in your own end or in the neutral zone, then you're going to go to one of these ice action cards. You're going to turn it over, and you're going to read it from top down, and you're going to take the first action that works. So this card here says, if the puck possession team is playing pass in, their pass is intersected, and the defending team is going to transition to an odd man rush. So if you're playing pass in, that's a little bit more of that risk reward. You're giving up an odd man rush because your guys are trying to make a play at the blue line, and you turn the puck over. But if you're not playing pass in, then you're playing dump and chase. So then you go down to this next one. And it says, if you're playing dump and chase and you have 2 forwards that are hitting, have a hit rating of 8 or more, then you're going to get a shot from inside. And if you look here, it says an F, which is in quotes. And that translates to this part of the main game board up here. So this section here, if you look over on the left-hand side, you see there's an F in quotes, then there's an FD, and then there's a D. The F stands for forward, the D is for defenseman. So this top row is where you would look if this was the card and you were playing dump and chase and you had 2 forwards hitting 8 or better. Your next forward is going to get a shot from inside. So you look along this row, see where the cube is, and whatever position is listed next to the cube, that's who's going to get the shot. Now the reason I did this, rather than say, if you have 2 forwards hitting of 8+, then the right winger gets a shot from inside. Well, that's because every time that card came up, it would always be the right winger that's getting the shot from inside. And you'll see throughout this entire game, there's references to that all the time. And it just didn't feel right when I first started the game. It's easier just having it to say, okay, the right winger gets a shot from inside. But it's not realistic because it's going to skew everything too much to whether you have strong right wingers or strong left wingers, depending on the card that's being played. And so I knew early on I had to come up with a way to add a lot of variability into it. And these rows here are how I came up with that. That's how I've made it so that the next time this card comes up and it says if 2 forwards are hitting, they control in the attack zone the forward. Well, if this cube's probably moved along a couple of spaces, and now it could be the center, or it could be the right winger, or it could be the left winger again, they're going to get the shot from inside. So it's just there to make some variability. I will say that on some of the early game testing, a couple of the guys kind of balked at having this in there. They wanted tell me if it's a right winger, tell me it's a left defenseman. Don't make me go and look for it. And I was like, no, you have to have variability. It's going to be too predictable if you don't do that. You need that variability. And so I just said, just stick with it, see if you get used to it. And after a couple of games, they came back and were like, it works great. We like it. It actually, it just makes the variety of the game and who you're going to choose to get on the ice and maybe your line combinations. It just brings more and more of that into it. Okay, what else have we got to show you today? We've gone through, well, we didn't go through power plays yet. You'll see that, definitely when there's a game because there's definitely penalties. The way power plays work in this, and when I first started it, go back to end-to-end, so a year ago and even up to, more recently with end-to-end hockey as I'm developing it, I had a power play system that worked really great. I mean, it flowed through the whole power play and it felt like you're doing the whole thing and, passing the puck around, and it just took too long. It was great in that it worked, but it wouldn't work for game because it took too long. So I had to shorten it down into what I thought was going to be the quick decks hockey. And again, it was kind of a number of cards you're going to go through, checking attributes, checking, if the defender is able to make a play or whatnot. And so once I got to a point where I liked what, quick decks hockey was going to be like using these ice action cards, I realized then that I'm going to have to change the man advantage cards to being basically the same thing. And so that's what I've done is I've made the man advantage cards basically the same as the ice action cards. Now, each one of these is going to be 30 seconds. So in any one penalty, you're going to be going through 4 of them, but it happens really fast. So if there's a penalty, you don't have to worry about anything other than, because your special teams chart's already made, you're just going to move your token up there. If the guy who's got a penalty is listed up there, of course, you're going to have to put a replacement on for him. But then you're just immediately in. You don't have to do a face-off or anything. You're just immediately into checking the action that goes on with the penalty. Anyway, I think that's about it for right now. I'm going to be doing a video over the next week or two on showing a game, showing how it's played, play through a period or two. So you'll see how everything works, how it flows. And then there's another one that I'm going to do that I want to get your feedback on. And this is on these team charts. Because the team charts are awesome for getting set up, and you're up and playing so fast with these team charts. You can also edit these. I'll actually provide a spreadsheet that you can just cut and paste. You don't have to do anything fancier than just cut, paste, and print. Now, if you don't have access to Excel, or you don't have it online, or you can't get access to it, I'm going to do player cards too. In fact, I've already got some player cards made, and I think what's a neat idea in order to store them, in order to get it up and playing quickly too. So anyway, I'm looking forward to your feedback on that. So that'll be a video coming up shortly as well. I think that's about it for right now. This is a first look at 49 Quick Decks Hockey. Thanks for taking the time to watch it, and we'll see you next time on 49 Sports Games.